Greetings, and hi, everybody. It's me again with another episode of Nutritional Niche, where we challenge the norm, share truth, and do better together. I'm DeNitra Davis, your ace, the advocator, coach, and educator. I'm glad you're here. Whether this is your first episode or you've been with us since the beginning, this is our third episode, so thank you. So just 2 days out from Juneteenth, we're doing and going all the way in because while June 19th marks a day of historic freedom, we still need to ask ourselves, are we really free if we are metabolically bound? Can we celebrate liberation if our kitchens are still in captivity? Are we truly healed if we're still clinging to lies designed to keep us sick? Today's episode is called Who Knew? Unlearning lies and embracing healing, because we've been lied to for a very long time. And now we need to unlearn in order to truly heal. And so I just want to do a quick recap from episode 2, where last week we did the ripple effect and we had the ladies on the show, and we talked about Miss Gore and how she reversed her prediabetes. She's now wearing a bikini and a size small. And she had a major impact on her brother as well as her coworkers. And so we had Miss Wellington on, who is releasing weight. She's honoring her healing in her retirement. And she's just changed her perspective altogether. She is now a meat eater. Yes. And then Miss Rayner, who showed up. Miss Rayner is not going to go without having her boiled eggs and her bacon. And it is a part of her formula to heal. All of these women are from Jackson, Tennessee, and from your church, from your job. Healing is real and it's closer than you think. And we were so fortunate this week that we did the transformational talk and tasting. And we had about 12 women that came out and spent time with us. And it was amazing, eye-opening experience. And for me, I'm usually looking for people who've never heard this message before. I spend a lot of time with people who do have like minds, and I'm excited to be around them. And we have a good time together. There's no question that we're going to eat the way we eat and move how we move. But then there are this group of people who I intend to reach who've never heard that they can really heal, and that what's causing them to be sick is definitely directly tied to the foods that they're eating. So we had some young ladies who were in the place who, had suffered through some illnesses that they've had, and it was just great to bring some hope to them. And then we had really good food. So we always provide the food at our events, because what we found is that at our events, catering is not an option for us because we've not been able to solidify a caterer that does not have compromising ingredients. And so at one time I was just working overtime trying to get someone to agree that they would cook eggs inside of a butter versus a seed oil, or that they would fry wings inside of an animal-based. And no one could guarantee us that. So we don't want to be contrary in our events. So we do the cooking. But a lot of them were exposed to chaffles. If you've never heard of chaffles, ask me in the chat, what are chaffles? And you all make sure that you go out and that you like this video, you subscribe to this video, and you share this video for me. That would be helpful. And so we had a really good time with them. At this meeting, they got great information. So I always want to keep you up to date with the things that are happening with nutritional knowledge. So speaking of nutritional knowledge, some of you are very new to the show. And while the show is named Nutritional Knit, it actually is a spinoff, if you will, from nutritional knowledge. And so nutritional knowledge is our educational services business, nutritional, spelled K-N-E-W, because we believe if you knew better, could you, should you, would you do better? And in many cases, that's presented to us, but do we actually do better? I know a lot of times we hear a saying of to know better is to do better. And my statement back to you is that that's not always the case. And then I also say, do you really know? And so what we try to do is be that bridge over the gap in knowledge so that we can forge together knowledge so people can know what they need to know. So I'm a co-founder. It's a grassroots effort. My husband and I started this business together because we have and are still recovering from our own health challenges based on what we did not know. And so the more we have learned, the more we've learned, the better we've been. And we're still healing. We're still doing better. And so one of our main things is that we exist because too many people are living sick, confused, and defeated, and they don't even know why. A lot of times people have illnesses that they are facing without knowing what is actually causing it, what is the root cause. And so even something as simple as thinking that your blood pressure is caused by salt or pork. So we try to help demystify, if you will. So our approach is really simple. We believe that we need to self-identify. What does that mean? It means understanding simply what's happening in your body. Your body shouldn't be a mystery to you. Self-identify could also relate to getting your lab work. A lot of times I hear people say things like, "Oh, my labs are good. Doc said I was fine." Oh yeah, he did say I was borderline. But we really don't have a true understanding about our labs. That's identity. Your labs are your identity. You get the diagnosis and you come home and you may say, I was diagnosed with, oh yeah, I'm pre-diabetic. Oh yeah, I have high blood pressure. You can name for me the pills that you take, but really not having an understanding of the labs that were taken for you to get that diagnosis, and then going a little bit deeper is to understand the root cause of why you even have that. So that's one thing that we really push, is for people to self-identify. The other one is about self-advocating. We want you to be self-advocates. What does that mean? Okay, I got the labs and I understand that you're saying I'm pre-diabetic and we just gonna watch it. And the doctor may say to you that they're not alarmed. You should be alarmed. That's how you self-advocate for yourself, is by you should be alarmed at a pre-diabetes, borderline, a touch of sugar diagnosis. And so then advocating for yourself. So an example of self-advocating would be getting this diagnosis of pre-diabetes and then asking your doctor, well, how do I monitor that? And maybe the doctor or someone in the health profession is going to say to you, just watch it. And so you're advocating for yourself back. Watch what? What am I watching? If I already don't know how I got it, then how do I watch it? What does that mean? And so advocating for yourself means that you ask, hey, is there a monitor I could use to check my blood sugars when I am eating? And I'm going to tell you that that has been a major problem for many of my clients, because the doctor doesn't want to give them a blood glucose monitor. It is a huge part in a process to know how high your sugars are running when you eat. So not necessarily when you're fasted. So you should be taking it when you're fasted. That's true. You should eat. And then 45 minutes to an hour later, you should be taking your blood sugar again. Now, for some of you, that's the first time you've ever heard that. I have met diabetics that have never been told that. That is how the process should work, so that you can identify, again, there's that self-identity. You can identify what the foods you're choosing to eat is doing to your blood sugar in the immediate. You don't have to wait for a doctor's appointment. You can know that immediately. So let's say your doctor is just adamantly opposed to giving you a blood glucose monitor. I think you should push, because insurance will pay for it. But if not, you can order one on Amazon. You can order one or buy one out of Walgreens. But it's definitely, if you are insulin resistant, then it's definitely something that you want to have. And let me just add this as well. If you are a part of a church, a school, your business, these are, I know they don't come in the first aid kit. The first aid kit is usually looking for wounds that have happened and how do we treat those wounds. But having in your church, your business, a glucose monitor is a good thing, because if a church member or a coworker has an episode, one of the things that you can do immediately is check to see, is it blood sugar? Is it blood pressure? So consider having those things as a part of your church. And the last one I'll say as a unique thing to us at Nutritional Knowledge is that we believe in community. Healing happens better when we do it together. Just simple as that. Right. And so we believe that you should, and this is a community that you're becoming a part of with Nutritional Knit. We do have a Facebook page named Nutritional Knowledge that you can look up and also join. And as a part of that, then you get a chance to see people who are living this life better on purpose. Not perfect, but better on purpose. And so just consider that as a way of learning more and seeing that you're not isolated in your desire to be well, to be healed. And this show isn't about fear, it's about freedom. I want you to walk away today in the new, not confused, not ashamed, not overwhelmed, but aware, equipped, and empowered. And so today, my goal is to really spend some time debunking some lies we've been told. And I want to name them lies, not myths, because they have in many ways been intentional, right? So let me start with this first lie. The first one is eat 6 small meals a day, right? And so the title of our show tonight is Who Knew, right? And so who knew that we should not be eating 6 meals a day was the snack industry. So your Kellogg's, your Nabisco, and even the American Diabetes Association. The science behind eating 6 meals a day is simply this. It is constant eating, which means constant high blood sugar, constant insulin, and constant fat storage. So you're keeping your body on a high all day. Insulin is never getting the opportunity to rest. So that's lie number one, is that you should not be eating 6 small meals a day. The thing to unlearn is your body needs metabolic rest. There's no need for you to be a grazer. So we're going to say that we're not going to be a grazer. We're not always grazing. And guess what happens when you do that? The reason why you need these 6 meals is because you're not eating satiating foods, which is also part of the lies that we've been told. So we're eating things that are not satiating us. And because we're not satiated, then we're continuing to graze. So you're at breakfast thinking about what's for lunch. You're at lunch thinking about what's for dinner. That's because your body has not gotten the nutrients that it needs. So it's consistently looking for something else. Lie number 2, that was lie number 1, was eat 6 small meals a day. That was a lie. Lie number 2 is avoid red meat. Who knew that this was a problem? The USDA, the American Heart Association, and fake meat investors like Bill Gates. Red meat is prime to your diet. It is not bad for you, right? It is nutrient dense. It contains iron, B12, zinc, and creatine. So we've been avoiding red meat. So why are we getting sicker? We've been on this low fat trend, this don't eat red meat, don't eat fat trend for at least the last, I know of my life, I'm 54, at least the last 30 years. So why are we getting sicker and why are we getting bigger if this is the right way to go? It's because we've been lied to. Beef and ruminating animals, goat, sheep, lamb, all of those are ruminators. They can process grass and you cannot. That's a lie. Meat is medicine. It is not your enemy. All right. So we've done lie number 1 was eat 6 small meals a day. Lie number 2 was avoid red meat. Now lie number 3 is trust the food pyramid in the MyPlate. So I can remember being a teacher and teaching my students the pyramid at the bottom with all the grains. I mean, meat was in the very little top. Really, the pyramid should be turned upside down. It needs to be turned upside down. Okay, so then we move from the pyramid to the MyPlate, where we still said that protein should be really the smallest thing on your plate and grains and salads should be the bigger. That's a lie. It's not true. All right. Because all of that is based in carbohydrates. And remember, carbohydrates are non-essential, right? So this carbs became the base and obesity has still skyrocketed. So I look at it like this. It's like a leaf starts out very light, but the more leaves you pile in, the heavier leaves get. And in your body, there is no mechanism to manage leaves. And so when you are unable to manage leaves, they store on you as fat, causing all of the issues that we are starting to see. The pyramid was never built for health. It was built to sell grains. So we have this growth of grains and corn, and they needed to find something to do with it. And what they decided to do with it was an experiment. So all of the products that are in the center aisles of the store are all a science experiment out of what can we do with plants. So lie number 1, eat 6 small meals a day. Lie number 2, avoid red meat. Lie number 3, trust the food pyramid or the MyPlate. Lie number 4, this is a big one. Fat makes you fat. So we went through this whole journey, and who knew this was a lie was snack whales, Weight Watchers, and Big Sugar. So to tell us that fat makes us fat means that we got to remove fat out of stuff. And guess what we were able to put into that? Sugar. So where there is no fat, or all of the low fat things that we've been eating, what they've replaced it with to make it palatable to us is sugar. So you had snack whales, you got Weight Watchers, you got all of these meals, even like your frozen dinners. What they did was take the fat out and add the sugar in so that we would even want to at least try it. Fat is flavor, y'all, and fat is good for you. So sugar, not fat, spikes insulin and creates fat gain. So let's go back to this whole concept around insulin. So your insulin is going to wake up when sugar is present, right? Fat bypasses that. There is no spike in insulin when you eat fat. Go figure. Let's pause on that one just for a moment. There is no insulin spike. So for those of you that know already that you're diabetic, you're pre-diabetic, and you're trying to manage your blood sugars, and you're trying to find all the ways to do that, but you are avoiding fat, you can eat fat. And I'm talking about animal fat. I'm talking about beef fat. I'm talking about butter. You can eat those things, and they're not going to spike your insulin. They're not going to spike your blood sugar. Like, who knew? No one told us. Guess who's telling you now? That would be me. All right. And so the background to that is Ansel Keys manipulated the data in his 7-country study. What we know now is that there were 22 countries studied. And remember, I'm a teacher, y'all. Everything I say is good for you to research, you to learn, you to go deeper. Don't just trust what I'm saying either, right? Do your research. Your body needs healthy fats for hormones, brain health, and satiety. What do I mean by satiety? Satiety means that you are feeding your body what it needs, you're getting full, and now you can go do the things you do. So what does that meal look like? It could look like, for me today, I had bacon, I had a burger, and I had eggs. I am satiated. I am full, and I had great nutrients. It's the same way when you go to the gas station. I did that today as well. Go to the gas station and you just stop there and you fill your car up on what it needs. You're not mixing it. You're giving it what it needs. We are literally the only species of any sort or machinery that does not subscribe to what we are meant to run on. We compromise that. Around my house, lots of birds' nests. I don't care what day it is. Those baby birds are going to get worms. At no point is mama going to say, look, I just couldn't find you none, so you're going to have to eat some of these sticks. That's not happening. They're going to work until they get it. A lion in the wild will die before it starts gnawing on a tree because it's not natural to their body. What's natural for the human body, what is essential are our macronutrients, which is protein and fat from animals. Lie number 5. Let's go over them again. Lie number 1, eat 6 small meals a day. Lie number 2, avoid red meat. Lie number 3, trust the food pyramid. Lie number 4, fat makes you fat. Fat does not make you fat. As a matter of fact, what I'm learning in my own life is the more animal fat I eat, the more of this inflammation that doctors would call fat is being released off my body. And what I know in my research is that it is giving my body a comfort that says, oh my God, I am getting the nutrients I need so that I can release that which is on me. So I'm saying the same thing to you: is fat does not make you fat. That's a lie. Lie number 5 is a calorie is a calorie. Who knew this was a lie? Diet, app, industry, and big pharma. So not all calories impact the body equally. Protein, fat, carbs equal different hormonal responses. So here's a simple example for that, is that you could take a chocolate donut, right? You could take a piece of salmon. They both equal 300 calories. However, when you eat them and what they do to your body is totally different. This is why the calorie chaos does not work. Because when you are eating and they say, just get this amount of calories or be in a calorie deficit, I could eat a huge steak that is high in calories, but it's also nutrient dense. So a calorie is not just a calorie, right? That's a lie. And we can't continue to think that. So we are in the stores trying to count calories and make sure we eat a minimum of this amount of calories. And what's happening is it doesn't equal out because of what that food or food product that you chose to eat is going to do to your body. Metabolism is a hormonal dance. It's not just math. Okay, so it's not just, oh, I only had 500 calories today, so I'm great. Or I ate 1,800 calories and that's terrible. It doesn't work like that. It is about the quality of the food that you are eating. So lie number 6, here we are. All right. Lie number 6 is eat less, move more. All right. Who knew that this was a lie? The gym culture, the hustle culture, and weight loss type of coaches are saying to us, like, eat less food. We just talked about, like, eat 500 calories and then move more and you'll lose weight. Now, that may make you lose something, probably going to be more muscle than weight. The people that I'm working with are not huge exercisers, but they are releasing weight. They're releasing weight because they're feeding their body what it needs, and then the body is releasing that which it no longer feels like it needs to store to sustain itself, for survival, right? So when we have put these things on our body or eating these things that are not good for us, the body is holding on to it because it's not getting what it needs. So it feels like it needs to store it and keep it. But when you start to feed your body what it needs, then it's going to slowly continue to release that. Okay. And I know this in my own life because I have been the same way at different sizes. It's crazy to me, right? I have been a 2X, X, and a large, all at the same weight. But what was happening was my body was getting the right nutrients and it was starting to release inflammation for me, but the weight of the muscle was still there, right? And so what's happening is we are continuing to think that we can just run this off in the gym. You cannot run it off, right? Am I saying movement isn't important? No, I especially wouldn't say that because I see my doctor, hey, Dr. Moore, there, and we do no less than 15,000 steps in a day because movement is important. You know, some people say movement is medicine. I say movement is a miracle because it is required for us. So this concept around needing to go to the gym and run like you crazy and, you know, do all of this high cardio. No, your body just needs to be a mover so that you teach it that it's a mover, it's a shaker. It is a requirement for your survival to be able to move. You want to be able to, if something is chasing you, you want to be able to get away. If you need to chase something, you want to be able to catch up to it. And so this is why movement is so key and so crucial. And so eat less, move more is another lie, right? All right, number 7 is everything in moderation. Oh my God, this one wears me out. This one really wears me out. So who knew that this was a lie? Was fast food industry and alcohol companies, right? And so we've been taught do everything in moderation. Let's balance. Okay, so when we talk about moderation or this concept around do better, so I talking about me, I ain't talking about nobody else. I used to could eat a whole pack of Oreos, vanilla ice cream, and go home. And I always needed something salty, so I needed some barbecue chips to go with that, right? That was a weekend binge for me. Moderation for me would be, oh my goodness, today I only ate a row of the vanilla cookies and I didn't eat as much. And this time I skipped the barbecue chips. That's moderating, right? Moderating could be choosing on your plate that instead of getting rice and beans and cornbread, I'm only going to do rice and beans. You're still going to be on a sugar load, right? So this idea around moderation keeps us addicted. We really should be looking at how to eliminate what does not work for us. So I do a session with my clients called Finding Your Formula, because everyone is not different. How we enter into this space is different. The damages that we've done to our body is different. And so where we land at the time that we wake up and discover that something needs to change is different. But the ultimate is still, how do we eliminate sugar? Sugar is a foreign substance to the body. It is foreign, it is addictive, and it is going to wreak havoc on our bodies anytime we consume them. All right, so we want to do more of taking elimination, and that's when it comes to metabolic poisons. So if you know that you're on this overload of sugar and you've been eating sugar consistently, and I'm talking about sugar in the forms, remember, I often say that plant-based equals sugar-based. And so in your attempt to be healthy by eating a salad and maybe a piece of protein, but then also having a dessert, that's sugar on top of sugar, you've missed out on the power of protein and fat. You need them both. All right, we're going to go to number 8, which is one of my favorites, is LDL cholesterol is the enemy. So I had a conversation recently with maybe 2 or 3 different people, and all of these people have been prescribed a statin. Y'all, the statin manufacturers know that this LDL cholesterol is not our enemy. It is, they want us to believe that LDL is an enemy, but it's not the enemy. What's the enemy is the statin drug in these heart health brands. So think about this. We've walked around and said that a honey nut Cheerio was better for us than eating eggs, than eating meat. Like, it's all based in lies. And I'm not saying who the originators of these lies are. I'm not trying to point fingers or call it out in that sense. What I'm saying is they are lies nevertheless, and they are lies that are keeping us in bondage. And we're talking Juneteenth here. We're talking that these folks didn't know that they had been set free and that they could live freely. I'm saying the same thing to us today on the heels of Juneteenth being Thursday, is that we are still living in a way that we could be free. We are literally not only in bondage, we are dying from things that are based in lies or based in lack of knowledge. And so today we want to change that. So this cholesterol, your total cholesterol is not the problem. What's really the problem is inflammation. Understanding your inflammation numbers and markers, understanding what your A1C is. I say this often, in your fasting insulin, understanding HDL and triglycerides related to your cholesterol. But your total cholesterol, and calling LDL cholesterol bad is a myth that started with Ansel Keys. And again, remember, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, so we're going to do the homework and figure that out. And the last one that I'm going to give you, no, I got 2 more. The last one I'm going to give you now is about fiber. And so I'm going to spend a little time on the fiber one. So fiber is essential for health. It's actually a lie. It's not true. And so I'll just pause because I know that's a bombshell for some people who are listening or who are going to listen later. Now, it is true that fiber will make you poop. It will make you poop. However, it is not necessary for you to poop. Your pooping is aligned with waste. That means that your body could not use it, your body did not want it, and because of that, it is trying to get rid of it. Okay. So who knew that this was a lie with cereal makers and fiber supplement companies? Fiber can cause bloating, gut issues, and it does not regulate your insulin. And so essentially what's happening with fiber is, yes, when you eat fiber, you feel like, oh my God, I had a bowel movement, is what we call them. I'm starting to teach my clients not to call it a bowel movement, to call it waste. That is what it is. Again, let's go back to the car analogy. Your car, when you give it gas, you're not standing there waiting for that gas to pour out on the ground. It is going to absorb in your body. So when you feed your body the things that it's supposed to have, that's going to become an absorption more than waste in the toilet, right? I often say that meat never makes it to the toilet, right? Because your body absorbs those nutrients. It's so excited about getting those nutrients. And so when you are taking in nutrients and your body has the nutrition that it needs, then you're going to have very little waste, right? Even for me, and if you meet other carnivores or other people who are taking mostly plants or doing low carb out, they'll say things like, I rarely use the bathroom, but I don't feel bloated anymore. I don't feel gassy, but I'm just concerned because I'm not using the bathroom. Because that's another lie we've been told, is that we should be pooping every time we eat. But when you eat nutrients, you're not going to be pooping because there is no waste to poop. Now, when I eat some garbage, for whatever reason, right, I take a bite of some cake, I eat a bite of a cookie or whatever. Yes, my body immediately starts to get rid of that. So that's the other reason why it's such a struggle for us to lose weight, is because that sugar, that waste, is going to raise insulin. And where insulin is high, the body is not going to release weight. All right. So fiber is essential for health is a lie. Fiber is actually a carbohydrate, and carbohydrates are non-essential, right? What I'm learning in my research, and as I'm working with my clients that are suffering with like IBS, diverticulitis, even their doctors are telling them like certain plant foods that they should take out because it is the thing that's causing that problem, not meat. So you have to do the research and really understand the toxins that live in plants. Like I actually say that all plants are like a poison ivy, right? They all have a defense mechanism that we cannot really overcome because we don't have the mechanism like ruminant animals to do that. You do not need fiber to poop or to be healthy. Just remember that if you're eating nutrients, and if you really, as you're finding your formula, really getting intimate with yourself, really getting to know yourself, if you pay attention to your poops, you'll realize that you have most of your pooping happening when you're eating stuff that's rooted in plant-based or ultra-processed foods. When you're eating a nutrient-dense protein, fat, you're right. You're going to rarely poop because your body is absorbing those as nutrients. All right. In the last one, lie number 10. Lie number 10 is you need to poop every day, right? Let's figure out who knew this lie. Was any kind of laxative brand, colon cleanse companies, tea companies. Your body is smart. Normal elimination patterns vary. So it's really going to be based on how you are eating. If you're not eating something that is already a waste, then your body is not going to need to waste out. So I use a lion again. About 2 years ago, I did this whole research on a lion's poop. It's actually called scant. And so it's in the wild. And when they test it, there literally is no meat in it. It is only skeletal bones and hair inside of this poop. There's nothing else there. Guess why? The body of the lion could not use the hair or the skeletal bones, so it got rid of it. And so that's the mindset that we need to start thinking about. So poop frequency does not equal health. Focus on digestion and not obsession. So trying to be obsessive about, pooping, or I haven't pooped in a long time. In the bag that people have that have like a gastro issue, they will tell you that all the plant stuff, they see it in its full entirety. So like corn, it doesn't break down at all. Rice, it doesn't break down at all. So if your poop wasn't going in the toilet and you had a bag hooked to you, you would still see all of these things undigested. And so if your body doesn't poop it out, guess what? This is what becomes the inflammation that is stored on your body. So that's why we are inflamed, because our body could not metabolize it. Insulin couldn't push it through the tract. We didn't absorb it. Now it is stored as fat, as inflammation. So when we're having these issues around, plantar fasciitis or glaucoma in the eyes, or your face is starting to swell, or you're having problems with eczema, you got high blood pressure, you have high blood sugar, that is the inflammation that is storing on your body. So the other people who are, kind of helping with this suppression, and I'm going to be a big girl tonight and just say these out loud, is like the Nestle, PepsiCo, Kraft, and Heinz. They profit from the ultra processed foods that they feed us. And I call them ultra processed food products because they're not food at all, right? There is no trace of food in them. There is no trace of nutrients in them. They are literally a project that they have been able to get just under the radar to be able to sell it to us. And I'm saying today, this is why we read ingredients. And this is why we want to know what we're putting in our body. And then you think about places like Weight Watchers, Gina Craig, Noom. They sell you shame in a subscription. Oh, moderate, eat less, do this. None of these things are sustainable. At Nutritional Knowledge, we come for you for something that is lifestyle changes that you can do for a lifetime, right? We want to be making changes. I can cook a steak for the rest of my life, right? I can have butter for the rest of my life. But there are things that we go through these programs that are just not sustainable. Even I have my clients do some tracking in the beginning, but I don't teach tracking because tracking is not sustainable. Who wants to do that? You don't track what you gave your gas tank. And I continue to say over and over again is that we treat our cars, and we know more about our cars better than we know ourselves. And you think about Pfizer, Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk. All of these people are making billions of dollars off of diabetes and obesity drugs. This is what they're doing when we could simply change. And I'm saying simply with humility, because I know in a lot of ways it's not simple, but really it is simple to just feed your body what it requires, which is protein and fat. It's simple as that. And so when we don't do that, then we turn to a Pfizer. We put our health in the hands of a Pfizer or Eli Lilly or Novo, these drugs that we think something is wrong with us, that we're broken. Oh, I'm too weak to do it. They're never going to tell you that you could choose to eat better and not deal with these side effects. Right? Who else are we calling out tonight for suppression? These are all suppression call outs. These are people who are, or businesses that are suppressing the good information that we need. You're talking about the USDA. Yes. Even the American Heart Association, the American Diabetes Association, still pushing grains and sugar. I was just recently working with a client who her doctor told her, rather than doing a low carb way of eating, she recommended to this person who is insulin resistant, that is having some inflammation, who wants to release weight and do something for a lifetime, the Mediterranean diet, which is full of grains, which is full of sugar. And so I'm saying to us, I'm calling out suppression, right? Coming off of Juneteenth, like we have been dealing with these lies because these things have been suppressed to us. They have not been opened up to us. And we are sick as a result of it. We are suffering with sickness, right? They knew, they still know, but now you do too. Now you are informed. You are what I call in the new, right? You are in the new, K-N-E-W, new, right? So with that being said, I am always trying to show up as your ace, as your advocator, your coach, your educator. I want you to know your numbers. I want you to question what you've been taught, and I want you to begin to unlearn these lies so that you can heal, right? I'm not even after wellness anymore. I'm after your healing. I'm after you being optimal, right? And why do we want to be optimal? Why do we want to be optimal? Like, I haven't had my grandkids yet. Have you had yours? Are you able to get out on the floor with them, hang out with them, run in the yard with them, jump on the trampolines with them? Are you able to do those things? Are you able to fully embrace and enjoy your spouse? Right? This is why we want to be healed. And who wants to live off of prescriptions? Just, you all help me understand. Who wants to live off of prescriptions? I think no one. We have an opportunity here to change the trajectory. And I know that this is like, who are you? Right? You're not a man. Because when I'm speaking, sometimes people are you a doctor? No, thank the Lord I'm not, because I would be trying to get in your pockets versus getting you healed in some cases, right? Like, I don't have a prescription pad for you. I have some simple information that you can take it, apply it, and be better, right? My goal is to get us better together. So how do you start healing, right? We wanted to, right, really expose these lies. And now we want to talk about, what do we do in order to heal? The first thing you have to do is reset your mind. You have to have a new mindset that says, I am open to learning. I am open to figuring out why I don't feel well. I'm no longer going to blame the way my knees feel on my age. I'm no longer going to just run to the store and get a cane, get a brace for my hand. I'm going to go deeper for me. I'm going for me. And so when we talk about things like self-care and self-love, this is what it really looks like. It really looks like, I'm not going to say things like, oh, I'm having my vegetables. I don't care. I'm going to eat vegetables. I'm going to eat vegetables. While not caring enough to unpack what vegetables may be doing to you or your family members, right? I was a big vegetable girl as well. However, when I figured out that vegetables were trying to kill me, then that changed for me. And I'm saying it can change for you as well. Do your research. Don't believe me. I bring the information, I'm talking about in little chunks. I'm not even giving you or going deep. I'm giving you little things to consider. Google it, Chat GPT it, and figure out for yourself what is going to ultimately be best for you. And I guarantee you that eating more than a teaspoon of sugar at any time is not going to be good for you, because it's not how your body is designed. Now, when we're looking at two people, I have a client who, they came to me, they only wanted to reverse their prediabetes. We put them on low carb and they were able to do that immediately. All right. Another client came, multiple health issues as a result of high insulin, as a result of overeating carbohydrates. You know, I'm working with people who have fibromyalgia, autoimmune issues. So how I engage with them in the recommendations that they get are going to look different, but it is still going to look like a place of eliminating as much as possible plant-based stuff that no longer serves them. The only way you're going to know is that you start that elimination. And so one of the first things that we want to stop doing is stop grazing and start fasting. So for my Christians that are out there, the Bible doesn't say if you fast, it says when you fast. So yes, implement a fast. Close your kitchen. My doctor, Dr. Moore, taught us that. Like, close your kitchen at a certain time. Your body should not even be consuming food at night. I know we have dinner, but supper was at a whole different time if we go back ancestrally or to our forefathers. We would see that supper was at a whole different time, and it happened before night. So these late night dinners, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then going to lie down on that food is not a healthy thing to do. So that's one of the first things you can do is implement a fasting protocol for yourself. Stop eating 6 o'clock before it gets late. Get it done and be done with eating. Stop grazing all day long, just snacking, grabbing something. That's really built in some type of emotional occurrence, right? There is something that's calling you to that. I always catch myself when I'm running in the kitchen. I'm like, then I think about, what did I just get out the phone doing? Because even you can do this when you're eating low carb. Sometimes I'm just overgoing with the beef fat, or I'm overgoing with the pork skins, right? So we have to be mindful that we are not grazers. We're going to fill our tank, fill up, and then be done, right? And then we're going to break fast. That's what breakfast really is break fast when we are up the next day and the body calls for a fueling. It calls for something to eat, all right? We're going to prioritize real protein. Hear me when I say real protein, because many of us are drinking shakes. And again, another lie from the food pharma that says, this has this amount of grams of protein in it, so drink that. I'm saying to you to prioritize real protein, even if it's lean, even if you're doing chicken, if you're doing salmon, prioritize your protein. A salad or any grassy thing should not be bigger than your protein, all right? And don't be afraid of fat. Fat doesn't make you fat. As a matter of fact, fat makes you release inflammation, what some other people would call fat. And then take your lab seriously. You need that data so you can be data driven. You don't have to be guessing. I literally walk up on people and they're saying things to me like, I don't know. I ain't even checked on that. I ain't had time. I've been real busy. Don't be so busy that you don't know your labs, that you don't understand what's happening with your labs. You should know your labs. And I say too, fasting insulin and A1C, like your phone number and your social security number. That's just two initial markers. If I can't get you to remember anything else, I definitely want you to remember those two. Again, I want to encourage you to follow some other people who are walking this walk. You got Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Tony Hampton, Dr. Chris Palmer, Craig and Maria Emmerich, Dr. Eric Westman, Nina Tachos. You can join me on Monday with G and Robin for the Hey Sister Girl. Y'all, we are on a mission to get us healed. Remember, in the United States, 93% of Americans are metabolically unwell. It means we are sick. We're not kind of sick. We are sick. And in many ways, we are dying as a result of these simple things. When I look at obituaries and I look at the pictures, I can see insulin resistance. When I go back through my own life, I just wish that I had the information that I have now. I believe that some of my family members and some of my friends will still be here. So guess what? It's why I am going to continue to cry loud and spare not, because I want you here. If I can say something to get you thinking, get you considering, then that is what I intend to do for the rest of my life. Is I'm going to pull up next to you. I ran into a man at the butcher shop yesterday, and we had a whole conversation about his eyes and his A1C. He was like, "How you know I'm about to have surgery on my eyes right now?" I'm like, you might consider doing something else other than that surgery, right? Because you can do surgery all day long, but if you don't change what you eat, and guess what? That thing is coming back. It's like drowning and someone rescuing you out and you jump back in again. No, if you are drowning, you need to learn how to swim. And that's what I'm saying to us tonight, is that we have to figure out how to live this life and live this life for a lifetime, right? And I just appreciate the opportunity to share with you guys, to, continue to bring knowledge. I'm by no stretch of the imagination perfect at this. I am still in my own journey. I am still tempted by sugar. I was at an event supporting my niece on yesterday. I had strawberry cake, right? I felt it immediately, right? My body is so clean now that it immediately talks to me and I get it. Mine happens in my toes and my feet is where it drops to immediately. So this is not about perfection. This is about progression. This is about awareness. This is about not blindly saying things like, I'm going to just keep on doing it. Well, I got to die from something. It's not about that either. It is about trying to figure out what and pointing to what is causing you your issues. And as you discover what these issues are, you can't unlearn it, right? You're never going to catch me like just going in, having a hamburger bun and some French fries and bring the cheesecake and, give me a Sprite. I know too much now to do something like that. And so on this evening, if you have questions, I'm going to hang around for a little while. Drop your questions in the chat. I appreciate you joining. I'm trying to go to trying to make sure that you have no questions. If you are interested in signing up for what I call a Finding Your Formula, reach out to me and I can get you set up for that. If you want to go through a 90-day metabolic makeover, many of my clients find that super helpful for them. We go through all of your labs. I have been, I shouldn't say fortunate, I have been able to discover, like, some of my clients are pre-diabetic and in some cases diabetic, where their own doctors haven't told them based on the labs that they've done for them. And so we're here to help you to be healed, to be made whole, and live a quality life. And the thing that you have to dial back and continue to ask yourself is, what is your why? Why do you want to be better? Why is it crucial for you to try to incorporate these changes and impact the people who are around you? This is hugely important, right? So yes, this is Knewtritional Knit. We're going to be here on Saturdays at 3:30 live, bringing you information where we unravel these lies, where we stand on truth, where we stand in a place of wanting us to be healed. I see no questions in the chat. You can continue to watch this same video, share with a friend. If you haven't already liked my channel, Advocator, Coach, and Educator, please do. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If I can be helpful, you all are really good at this, is sending me text messages or direct messaging me. And that is fine with me, because I am here as your advocator, your coach, your educator, whatever I can do to help change the trajectory of you and your family. That is what I want to do. This show is not just for women. It's not just for men. It's for your kids. And we will continue to bring you great topics that get you thinking so that you can be nutritionally fit to live your best life. I thank you all for joining. And please tune in again next Saturday. Take care.